Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports, and a very special episode of My Mom's Basement. We will not be recapping Invincible this week. That's over. We've only got 2 shows now, but we've got some nerd news on top of it. We've got Daredevil and the boys, of course. Clem, how we feeling?
Feeling good, Bob. Feeling kind of sad about Invincible being over. I guess I hit the right part of the algorithm where now it appears on my For You Twitter page, and I'm getting a lot of like memes and stuff. And did you see the announcement they had about it coming back? Voice work has been done, and then a couple like spoilery things I won't say for people that have not watched yet. But it got me hyped, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of sad. I'm really sad it's over. I think
I know.
I made the thing last week about it maybe being the best comic book TV show, and the more I think about it, the more I don't even think that's even much of a hot take.
Yeah, no, everyone was like basically running with that narrative last week of not running with the narrative, but running with that debate. Is this the greatest comic book TV of all time? And doing the same thing we were doing, debating back and forth Batman the Animated Series and Daredevil and different things like this. But yeah, I mean, Gooch, I saw, just put out his little what I watched this week. And he said, we're about to get into my favorite part of the comics. And again, I was like, you're about to get into it. Like, Jesus Christ, how good does this thing get? And he's read all of them. I think Gucci, he used to have like the omnibus on his desk where he would just fly through that thing. So he's a big book knower for sure. Next season, we got to get Gucci on.
Beautiful, beautiful.
We got some basement keeping before we get into the news and the show recaps this week. Our Mall Shadow Lord recap is live on YouTube. We've been doing those every week. If you're listening on the podcast feed, go on over to the YouTube. We've got Mall Shadow Lord recaps for the whole season. Guests on certain ones. Jace joined us from the Telluride Bush. Jose Young's joined us. Hopefully we'll get another guest for the finale next week. Speaking of guests, Sam Witwer, Mall himself, I got to interview yesterday. Big interview for me. He's been on the dream interview list for a long time, not only because of his voice work as Maul and Palpatine in the Clone Wars, just because of the way he talks about Star Wars. It's so pointed and calculated and introspective. It felt like I was listening to like a Harvard professor teach me about Darth Maul yesterday. It was awesome. He was such a cool guy. Definitely check out the interview if you're a Star Wars fan. I also put that on the podcast feed as episode 498.5. You're going to start seeing some messed up numbers because we're saving episode 500 for Mandalorian and Grogu.
I like that we've already begun the countdown on that. That I was so excited for you because I was like, this dude is perfect for you, Bob. And you were super nervous. And I'm like, dude, you just have to like just realize the chance you're getting because of this job. This is something you know, young Bob would have died for. Now that you're in the driver's seat, you just have to learn to embrace it. Because that dude, he is like an encyclopedia. It truly was. It's like, he's a Wikipedia. He's straight plugged in to the source. So the fact you're able to get that and very cool stuff. You had some fun questions for him too. It was very good.
I really was more nervous for that than most other interviews, even like in-person interviews, which it's weird the things that I do get nervous for at this point. But that one is like, you're giving me someone in the Star Wars universe that's that important in the Star Wars universe. That'll get the nerves going. That'll get the anxiety churning for old Bob over here.
We need to get you a Filoni interview just for the reality show of you getting ready for the Filoni interview. That'll be the content.
I'll do it in the cowboy hat. You got it.
You're going to be like throwing up for weeks. And again, we'll have Tate document you getting ready for the Filoni interview. And that will be the content the Filoni interview will never even happen.
It'd be the worst numbers he's ever done. He's just like, Bob threw up again.
No, I'm telling you, Bob, you don't understand what you're like when you're getting nervous about stuff. You will be must-watch Twitter, I guess is what it is.
Yeah. And then we also have Super Critics out this week. This week's episode was on The Rocketeer, which was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Absolutely loved it. Revisiting it was very fun because I was kind of going in like, is this going to hold up? Is this going to be the same thing as like Secret of the Ooze, where I watch it as an adult? I'm like, ooh, some of that really doesn't hold up. The Rocketeer is just a great movie. If you guys haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend you check it out. And we had Feidelberg join us for this one because Feidelberg apparently used to just run around his house dressed as the Rocketeer. He had the mask, he had a red jacket, and he would throw a backpack on and just be the Rocketeer. Well, have you seen that movie, Clem?
I saw it in the theater, I think, but that was the only time I saw it. I probably liked it. I didn't love it, obviously. I was not running around as the Rocketeer. I was He-Man. That was my guy that I'd run around with, sword in my back. But, man, Feidelberg being the Rocketeer and just running around his house as young Feidelberg, that kind of checks out with, like, how my headcanon of young John Feidelberg. It does check the box, I would say.
And a little comic connection for you. Obviously, that is a comic, but it was directed by Joe Johnston, who went on to direct Captain America: The First Avenger, which is a very Rocketeer-like movie where you have a guy fighting Nazis in this, time period and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting to see the origin of some of those ideas. He also wound up doing Jumanji after that. He did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids before it. Really good director, really great score. The score, Clemmer told me, is almost exactly the Field of Dreams score. It's the same guy that did both.
Wow.
So he pretty much copied and pasted it, but it's a great score. So check that out. It's definitely a movie worth watching. And after you watch that, come watch the Super Critics episode where we break it all down.
See, I'm like, I couldn't even tell you who the Rocketeer was, like the actor. And I'm looking.
Well, that was one of the issues. Is a guy named Billy Campbell, and the guys that they wanted were like Johnny Depp, Kurt Russell, Matthew Modine, like Emilio Estevez. And it was kind of a flop, to be honest. They wanted it to be a franchise. They canceled the toy line when the movie didn't do anything in theaters. You said I saw it in theaters. You were one of the only ones, Clem.
Apparently so. I mean, that was just an easy layup for like, I got to get the kids out of the goddamn house. And it seemed like a wholesome, not scary. I don't remember. I don't think it was scary, like kind of movie.
Not really.
So, I mean, but this guy, Joe Johnston, I didn't realize, like, apologies. I did not, respect your game here. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I mean, that was one of the biggest movies of that time for kids. And Jumanji, I mean,
another one.
Jumanji it's not as high on my rankings as Hook, but it's the same kind of movie where it's not your traditional great movie, whatever. But I have such a warm place in my heart for that movie that it's probably pretty close to Hook. And goddamn, so this guy, he's pretty fucking, like, he has his so like, if you're saying the Rocketeer's in between those two movies, I should love it. Maybe, we need like the parallel universe where he gets Johnny Depp as the Rocketeer. Does it become an absolute like smash? And then obviously Captain America in its own right. So, whew, interesting. That's why you guys, this is why you guys got to watch, you guys are super critics, because there's like so many fun facts that you guys know, and you chop it up and you learn so much.
And next week will be Batman Returns. We're actually recording it today, breaking kayfabe a little bit. So we're going to be talking about that today. That's very exciting. And I know I've mentioned this on the podcast before, so I won't go into it too much. But my mom brought back Jumanji from Hollywood Video once. She was like, we're going to watch this tonight. I was so excited. The concept of a board game come to life. I loved board games as a kid. I was like, this is going to be awesome. It was the most traumatic night of my childhood. I was so afraid of Jumanji by the end of it. My mom said I fell asleep basically choking her to death. Like, I was squeezing her so much. It was that and Who Framed Roger Rabbit were the only two where she said you fell asleep like hugging me so tight that I was like, I can't breathe.
I will say Jumanji does have its terrifying parts, and the kid who plays the young Robin Williams does a great job because he like wears the terror perfectly well on his face. And Roger Rabbit, I mean, to this day, I still can't watch the shoe getting dropped in the dip. My kids watched it and didn't even bat an eyelash. I'm like, yo, you guys are heartless. How do you not like get scared of dip? And Judge Doom or whatever his name is. Oh my God. So that one to this day, like I saw that. I think I saw that in the theater for a birthday party. I don't remember if I've Mandela effect that in my brain because I don't know if the timelines match up. But oh boy, those are two. They'll get you. They will get you for sure. At least you were home with Mama Fox and not in the big theater.
Yeah. Exactly.
Rob, come here.
Let's talk about
right. It's just fake. It's just fiction.
Honestly, that was pretty good. Let's talk about some news. We got the House of the Dragon season 3 trailer this week. When we sent it in the Dragon Boys group chat, my first takeaway was like, wow, the CGI, the dragons look so great. And then Nick Hammy pointed out right away, they snuck a little birthing scene in there under the radar. And here we go again. It's a Grand Theft Auto meme. Oh, shit. Here we go again.
House of the Dragon promises carnage, gore, and stuff that will completely make you want to throw up. And we're not talking about the giant battle scene we've been promised. We're talking about whatever is coming in the birth scene. Is that the sister? It's the
I think it is.
Yeah, like the daughter, whatever, the one who lost the kid, obviously, with the cheese and the I have to like do a refresh.
With the cheese is a funny way to say it.
Brendan Clancy, who is like a Thrones encyclopedia now in his own right. He's gonna have to like give us all that like and teach us everything. Him and Nick.
Yeah, we got to do a pre-pod with him for sure.
like a catch-up pod, because again, like I know the characters kind of, and I kind of remember the names, but there's so much I forget. The one thing I remember: birth scenes, bad, no good, horrifying, worst stuff that Thrones has ever done to us in terms of what we've watched on screen, which is saying something. My one takeaway from the trailer, other than that, is, I mean, I guess it's like, all right, it's good. I'm not going to get too high or low going into it, even though I think we are underselling what House of the Dragon was, because we did have some like very boring moments. There also wasn't like a holy crap, we're getting an epic battle scene right off the jump based on these clips. Maybe they're underselling it on purpose. Maybe it's just not going to be what we think it is. At this point, I'm going with anything being possible, because I feel like I'm getting edged right now by all the hot tea fans who are like, bro, you could wait till you see it. Wait till you see it. And I'm like, no,
I know.
We're about to.
And they said that last season too.
Yes.
Like, we had that already where it's, but the Night of the Seven Kingdoms has added an extra layer of hype onto this. Like, they really did them a favor by having such a great season, because just the world of Game of Thrones and Westeros and everything is kind of fresh in my brain still. And I was excited when I saw that trailer. Like, my takeaway was like, I know people are going to still be kind of negative on this because of season 2 having some boring moments. But again, season 2 had a lot that I liked still. And I have faith that you can turn it around without any of the strikes going on, without any of the, production issues for season 3. I'm pretty damn excited. There was one shot of Damon looking down and he just looked fucking badass. And I was like, Damon's going to fucking turn me again this season. I'm going to be like, he's the man. And then it's going to have to go back on like, maybe I shouldn't be repping for that guy.
He's a tough one. He's tricky. I will say you can make a case for Thrones, and, it might be just me trying to, cope or spin zone it for them. But you can make a case that, like, when they're at their best, like when it's like a sports player, like when he's healthy, week 1 of the season, he's awesome. It's like when there's work stoppages or strikes, or, it's the last season and they have to cram a whole lot of story into a little, or they don't have the source material with George. That's when it goes awry. But when everything's there, all zipped up, and basically it's a, franchise you just put in the microwave, it's always awesome. As I'm saying that, though, I'm realizing George R. R. Martin was also like, this shit sucks. Or he didn't say that, but he's stepping back.
Said, it's not my story anymore.
And that's usually when we say that shit sucks. So again, I'm going in with an open mind. I'm not going to be devastated if it's bad, and I'm not going to be shocked if it's good. It's, I think, probably the place we should be with most of these franchises at this point, right?
Yeah. The next news story ties into Daredevil, which we're going to recap in a second. Daredevil viewership is apparently way down on Disney Plus, like 46% or something like that. The number came out this week. That season 2 over season 1 is just way down. And that shocked me when I saw it. It feels like word of mouth is great. I haven't seen anyone complaining about this season the way they were last season, in it like not matching that Daredevil tone. I told you, like, I've had cousins text me about this. I've had friends who aren't into all the Marvel stuff text me about this. It feels like everything is working for them right now. I'm shocked that the numbers are down as much as they are. And so many of the replies when I tweeted about this said, well, I'm waiting for it all to be out on Disney Plus. Like, well, I'm waiting for, the binge. And I couldn't believe how many people said that. I didn't realize that so many people did wait and felt that, spoiler culture, I guess, isn't as much a thing present in their minds as it is for the true nerds. But I was just shocked. It's disappointing. It's, I hope this doesn't affect, obviously season 3 is already being filmed right now, but I hope this doesn't affect season 4 or anything like that. Maybe you throw Daredevil in the new Spider-Man movie and you tie it in there, and that'll really boost things up for him. But I don't know.
Yeah, when you sent me the tweet, at first I thought it was just like one of those, hey, viewership's up 50%. And then when you're like, blah, 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 I can't believe this, or whatever you said, I look close. I'm like, oh, wait, it's down. So, like, I had to really, like, process it. And I will say, when you get, like, on Twitter, you'll get the replies enough times, you're like, oh, there is, like, a cause for this. So, I could see that being the case. It's still, again, this show, I think more than most shows, I was concerned about spoilers, because it feels like this is a show where you could introduce existing characters or characters we haven't yet met in the MCU pretty easily, and it would have worked well. And obviously you've had some come in through then, but I also think maybe they at 3 do they need season 4? Does it need to be like every single year we're getting a Daredevil? I mean, they've never said that, right? Like, I don't.
No, I mean they're promising it this far, but like if you said after season 3, hey, we're taking 2 years and then we're gonna come back with season 4, I wouldn't complain. I'd be like, all right, whatever.
And I don't even know if Fisk will be. At some point, I feel like we have to move off of Fisk, right?
Yeah.
Maybe after this season. I don't really know how. No, I don't. I think we should keep Fisk around for another year.
He'll be in 3.
That's going to be the good stuff right there. But yeah, I don't. That was a shocker to me. But at the same point, I said this, and it's not the case because obviously the ratings were better year 1, hence the fall. But it's like at some point, maybe people were just like, I don't know, man. We've had enough Disney Plus shows. Disney Plus did a really good job at taking all the new car smell out of their product because they gave us all this new stuff, and it just all the first stuff for the most part. Granted, there was stuff that was good in the beginning, WandaVision, Loki, but they've really done a good job of making that new car smell go away, and it's just like almost like, oh, you're banished to Disney Plus, or oh, I have to watch a Disney Plus show. You know,
it's a shame. It's not just Marvel; it's Star Wars too. You look at the numbers for the Mandalorian and Grogu not being the best in projections. I think a big part of that is probably taking the specialness away from Star Wars a little bit with so much Disney Plus content. It has to be, I think.
It just is. It's just part of the. And listen, if everything was a hit and great, but that's just not the way it is anymore. And a lot of these brands did well because, like Star Wars, it's like, well, we had 3 movies in the beginning, and they were all the biggest movies in the universe when they came out. Right. At some point, as you expand, unless you're run by the greatest minds in the history of cinema, there's going to be some hiccups and falls, and God knows there's been that for this and Marvel. So. Hope our boy Matt can turn it around here. I don't know.
I know Spider-Man can turn it around for him, I think, because Spider-Man, the marketing for that and the buzz around that, it feels very like present on Twitter to this day. They're doing a good job, I think, too. They put out like the first 2 pages of the script, which I said that really rides the line for me between like brilliant marketing material and a little bit too much. But if it's the first 2 pages of the script, it's probably the first like 90 seconds to 2 minutes of the movie. That's okay. I will say, like, The Mandalorian and Grogu just offered an event where you could go watch the first 25 minutes on May the 4th at like certain theaters. That I'm out on. Like, I don't want to watch 25 minutes of the movie a month before I go get to see the actual movie. That ruins it a little bit for me. So if anyone's going to those fan events, please keep Bob and Clem spoiler free. We're not interested.
The other thing with Spider-Man that's throwing me off is, like you're saying, it feels like it's coming, but then part of me feels like there should be more stuff because it's coming out relatively soon. But the fact it's July 31st is tricking my brain because it's almost an August release, but it says July. Yeah. So if, like, July 1st is like 2 months away, basically, right?
Yeah.
Whereas July 31st is 3 months. So it's like that extra month does kind of mess me up. So I don't know. I just feel like when Spider-Man movies were coming out, it felt like that was the biggest news every single day. It's not like that in my little universe. Again, maybe I just need that in the algorithm. It's whatever the algorithm.
You got to get the algo. It's stuck on Invincible for you right now.
Exactly. I'm living and dying with the show that just had its finale. It's not very good times right now, unfortunately. I'm basically in park or neutral and just hitting the gas, and I'm not going anywhere.
And then the last news item I had was just a strange one that I saw last night. I wasn't aware of this whatsoever. And I see a tweet from Discussing Film last night. Desert Warrior is tracking to be one of the biggest box office flops of all time. The Saudi Arabia-funded film has earned $488,000 on a $150 million budget. And why this really stuck out to me is you look at the poster, it's Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie is starring in this random Desert Warrior movie with Ben Kingsley, which also made me laugh because I just think of Cleaver. And I know he's a really respected actor. We love him in Wonder Man. But you see he's taking like a check like this, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's a bit of Cleaver money. I just couldn't believe that. Were you at all aware of an Anthony Mackie movie called Desert Warrior until today or yesterday?
I was not. First of all, Sir Ben Kingsley, I think I mentioned this during our Wonder Man stuff. I have animosity towards him because of how he built our boy Christopher in The Sopranos. So I hate a character or a real life actor for something he did as a character where he was acting as himself. Bob, I don't even know if this will even upset. I know this will upset you because I know you're like a pure heart and you get behind your guys. I think if you take Saudi money, I think you have to lose the Captain America stripes. You have to. I mean, what are we doing here?
No, it doesn't upset me. That's valid. Yeah, Captain America can't be taking Saudi money.
He can't be taking Saudi money. That is.
Maybe they knew. Maybe Marvel was like, hey, he's taking Saudi money. Call up Evans.
Yeah, that's what got it all kind of moving. I mean, that is. I don't even.
It's a bad look.
And listen, I've been fuck it. I'll say I'm anti-Saudi money. I don't think it's a controversial statement. Fuck Live Golf. I hope they fucking burn and die. I saw that they're trying to bring them back.
They're done now, I think.
No, but I think they got some sort of reinvestment.
They're trying to resurrect it. Undertaker.
I thought it was cooked. Sounds like not cooked, maybe just a little burnt, but they're trying to fix it up. Fuck them. Fuck all those golfers. I don't want them back in the PGA. And I don't want. And you know what? Let's be honest. I was saying it for fucking years. Go back to the old recaps. He's Captain Falcon. He's not my Captain America, which I know some people say is problematic. But I don't want the other guy as Captain America either. The guy from what's his name?
Steve Rogers?
No.
Russell Wyatt. Yeah,
Russell Wyatt. He's not my guy. Captain America. It is an empty
Wyatt
position
Russell.
right now.
Wyatt.
Russell. Yes.
Yeah.
Unless again. Now this is the thing. Our boy Evans, who is the Captain America, he might be the reason the Doom's coming back, because I don't know how this is all going to play out in Doomsday.
It's
Infinity Stones.
Charlie Day, cork forward. We're looking every which way, yarn attaching everything. Yeah, it's going to get a little confusing.
If you went back in time, tried to get all the Infinity Stones back in their timeline, and either purposely or mistakenly fucked up the entire multiverse because you wanted to go with the love of your life, as they probably would have said in the 40s. I'm fine with that compared to taking Saudi money. So in terms of evil's done, Chris Evans, Captain America, probably did more wrong in this, but taking Saudi money is worse than that. Unless you're in a universe where 9/11 didn't happen, then I don't know. We have to go. That's a whole other. That's a.
That'll be in the Doomsday cut of Endgame in September when they add that extra scene in. Yeah.
That's the Doomsday cut of My Mom's Basement that we'll do. That will be non-platform.
For that as well. Yeah. And then the last thing before we talk about Daredevil, I just wanted to give a special shout out to Gerry Conway. Passed away this week, a legend in the comic book realm, co-creator of Punisher. He wrote the story where Gwen Stacy dies. He's co-creator of Jason Todd, co-creator of Killer Croc, plenty other characters. One of the best writers who I think people credit him with sort of ushering in the Silver Age from the Golden Age, making it a little more mature, with the death of Gwen Stacy and whatnot. Absolute legend. Couldn't do the pod without at least mentioning him. Rest in peace, Gerry Conway.
It's always tough. It's tough losing the legends of the game, the ones behind the scenes, the ones in front of the camera. Our boy Ving Rhames, I saw collapse the other day.
He went through an issue. Yeah, hope he's okay.
God, Lawrence Taylor went down, but he had a stomach issue. But when you hear rushed to hospital, honestly, whenever I see those words, I think it was HH.
I know.
Brother. That's the guy I always think of. So you're always just I hope they get out of that hospital. So, RIP to a legend of the game. And I know that the Gwen Stacy one is an all-time arc. I know, which
that's one of the biggest moments in the history of comics, I would say, to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of HH, I watched the documentary. Did you watch the new Hulk Hogan documentary?
I did. I think we briefly mentioned it on Mall, right? We talked about it very briefly.
We briefly touched on it. Yeah.
So Hogan was my guy growing up, and he's the reason I got into wrestling. I was an 80s kid, young, I was very young, but I got in probably around WrestleMania, I guess between 4 and 5. I don't remember Andre the Slam happening and all that, but I was hooked from day one, loved it. Had an alarm clock. It would wake you up, eat your vitamins, do your brain, blah, 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 blah. Dressed up as him in Halloween. I've shared that picture on here in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Obsessed, pure obsession with Hulk Hogan. And also, however, when he passed, and let's be honest, lately it was tough for us Hulkamaniacs. A lot of tough things with him. Very confusing character. And even the stuff with the union busting and stuff where it's he also put money in.
Get mentioned. I thought that was crazy.
So that's the thing with this documentary. I think if you want to just go back and go down memory lane, which you kind of do with the Mr. McMahon doc as well. We've had a lot of these docs, and a lot of the docs are like this. As documentaries are just, especially when the people are involved, you're going to not really get into the real deep sides of the matter. I think if they had done this and covered everything. This is the bare bones of it. And then there's probably another 3 episodes where you go in deep on even more of the drug stuff, the union stuff. They're like, the word Randy Savage wasn't said once, which is bananas,
Sting?
right?
Like,
Sting,
you're talking about his WCW career and NWO, and you don't even mention Sting. It was like just confusing. And there's moments of greatness in the documentary, I would say. Like when they talk about WrestleMania 18 with The Rock, that it'll put chills on your arms the entire time they're talking about that match. I wanted that level of focus for like 10 more matches in his career. And I like the good and the bad. I didn't want it to just be all glorified. Like, you should have showed us the union busting stuff as well. They didn't mention the main reason, I think, of Hulk's money issues in the 2000s, which was Nick Hogan, his DUI where he killed his best friend. Like, they didn't mention that at all. They didn't mention the second wife until the very end when they bring up the third wife. And you're like, wait, third wife? We didn't even talk about the second wife.
I'm like, wait, he said third wife, right? Because we know first wife, and the first wife is like, other than Hulk, is the star of the documentary, and you get some great behind the scenes stuff with him and his family, and it seemed like when he was around, there was a great family life, and just the relationship with her and Hulk, which, by the way, every story for about 10 years, like, and then we just, made love to each other and fucked for hours. Like, these two were in love with each other, which is very cool.
And the amount of home video, you're like, okay, we see how the Hulk sex tape eventually leaked. He was filming everything.
But then you also see, like, the backstage or like, the behind the scenes where they're like on boats on their days off and they're having fun, they're having parties, and you see like, oh, is that the Nasty Boys? Oh, is that Brutus the Barber? And it is very cool to see, like, those are their friends, just like everyone has work friends. I knew growing up, my dad had friends at his when he owned his business, and like those guys became our uncles and aunts, right? And it's like same kind of thing. I imagine it was just so cool seeing the behind the scenes, and then seeing Hulk as an old man, can barely walk, can barely get up.
I know.
And it gave you such an interesting insight on him that I think if they had done the whole thing the right way, it would have been a great documentary. I think it does hits those high marks for wrestling fans, and he is so. I mean, I don't even think you can even debate who's the most important wrestler of all time. I think it's honestly him and Vince are essentially 1 and 1A, because it's like there's no Hulk without Vince. I do think there's a chance Vince could have found some sort of success that would have helped bring it up, but I don't know if it ever hits the heights and is still around without Hulk. So it's McClane and Hans Gruber. That's how I see the two of them, right? And it's like they needed each other to really hit the heights that the other one did, and the whole industry. So but I was addicted. I mean, I couldn't stop watching it.
I watched it in one sitting. I was doing laundry on the weekend, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. Literally one sitting. But there was a lot where I was also like, they do all the Warrior slander, which every Hulk Hogan documentary over the years will hit their Ultimate Warrior slander. Oh, he couldn't work. Oh, that was a bad decision, blah, blah, blah. And then they never show like them making up at WrestleMania 30 days before the Ultimate Warrior passed away, where I felt like that's a big part of the narrative. Where how do you not show them being like, hey, let's put this behind us? Like, what are we doing? Decades worth. They didn't even mention that those fences were mended and they buried the hatchet. There's a lot like that where I was just, even like when they show him slamming Andre, I think it's more interesting to tell the real story of, Andre had been slammed like 15 times prior to WrestleMania 3. Like friggin' Big John Studd was slamming Andre the Giant. But it's more interesting to be like, we sold it as nobody's ever seen this. He's never been slammed. And they just say, oh, the storyline was he had never been slammed, but they don't go any further than that. So I also wanted them to talk about Hulk Hogan as like one of the world's most infamous liars. And I don't mean that in a negative, like talk about all this, but like Hulk Hogan used to tell people he was almost the bass player from Metallica. And when the guys in Metallica were asked about that, they were like, yeah, no fucking chance. We never talked to Hulk Hogan. Like, I want that stuff in the doc. That's who he was.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think in the uncensored doc, which had all this stuff along with it, you could get, again, one of the best docs ever. It's just that's not where we are in terms of media, journalism, probably, let's be honest. And if these people are going to sign their stuff away, it's like, Nick is in this documentary all the time. They don't want to talk about how he killed, those people.
Yep.
It's funny how it's always, even when you can tell Hulk is in the wrong for some stuff, they just very lightly touch on it.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade. That ain't going to work for me, brother. That was Hulk's line. They don't mention any of that shit. They just talk about how he just took Brett's title and then just disappeared from WWF and fucked.
And they barely have the talking head interviews too. Like Brett's in it for a little bit, but I wanted to hear from like The Undertaker and Kane and Jake the Snake and more Scott Hall. I don't know, some people have passed away at this point, but you have hours and hours worth of interviews with these people in the archives for sure. So I wanted to hear, like, John Cena, you don't hear from once in the entire doc. He is like, you know, the Hulk Hogan of this generation, the successor. I want to hear the guy at the top of the business now talking about Hulk Hogan, and he grew up a Hulk Hogan fan. I don't think we hear from Steve Austin at all. Like, you hear from The Rock for a second in archival you know, footage when they're talking WrestleMania 18. I wanted way, way more. But listen, if you don't know anything about the Hulkster, like, check it out. Like, you'll definitely learn something.
And hand up, I have to admit, I mean, everyone's opinion of this guy are it's all over the place. I won't
if you hate
my opinions. No, not even about Hulk. I have to admit, seeing a sitting president come on there I said, they got Trump for this right now. And listen, Trump was a big part of like those WrestleMania.
Big part of Hulkamania.
I can't believe they had WrestleMania at the Taj Mahal 2 years in a row. I go, wait, I remembered 4 there. I didn't remember 5 was there. And then I went back. Sure enough, 5 was there as well. So that is just a crazy, crazy thing.
And they show footage from back then. And I feel like you could see like a little insecurity from Trump right away when he's standing next to like Hulk and someone else. And he's like, by the way, I'm 6'2". I'm 6'2". I want everyone to know that I'm 6'2". They're just making me look short. You're like, all right. Even in the 80s, he was like, I want to get ahead of the story here.
Yeah, he knows the newspaper would have something up there, right? I mean, yeah, that guy was very media savvy back then, but it's a fascinating like glimpse into, and even like you said, the childhood stuff and how he was a bass player and how that got him out of his shell. And this was the biggest thing, honestly. Well, no, this wasn't out of everything that I thought they could touch on. And they didn't. So, like, I understand they're not going to do the union busting thing or how he would, you know, make the cards in his direction. And they were very much complimentary. I've heard this outside of the doc about how if Hogan was on your card, you were thanking God because you knew that meant more money. I want to know, like, flat out, Hulk Hogan, the character, the person, everything about him. He was 99% of the reason. But I'm telling you, it's crazy to say, he doesn't hit that 100%. If his theme song was any other theme song. And I want to know why that theme song, how that theme song came to be. And then like, it's kind of disappeared. And I know they started using just, you know, Voodoo Child, even when he had gotten face, I think. So I don't know if there's anything behind the scenes with the song, but the song is, I mean, that was the like stamp, exclamation point, hammer that, you know, made Hulk Hogan. After he had all those wins, you heard that song and it hit a level of dopamine in your brain that I don't think I've ever felt since.
Still can. Yeah. You put it on right now. It'll make me feel more patriotic than ever.
Exactly. I saw that the Giants win the Super Bowl against an undefeated football team. I'm telling you right now, Hogan and his wins, hearing that song still somehow trumped that feeling. It was unbelievable. And it's because that song was so perfect. And the fact it didn't even get a mention, I thought was very odd. But, you know, I guess there's only so much time.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into Daredevil Born Again, let's tell everyone about the best Mother's Day gift you could possibly buy. That is from AURAFRAMES, their #1 carver selling, or their carver mat frame. It's the #1 selling frame they've got. It's a solid upgrade from the usual Mother's Day flowers. For years, I would get my mom flowers on Mother's Day, and she eventually told me, Rab, I don't want flowers. Stop wasting your money. Tell you what, AURAFRAMES is not a waste of money. It's a gift that she's going to love forever. Add as many photos and videos as you want. Keep adding from anywhere, anytime. Again, you could text or have the app. Makes it super easy for you. It comes in a premium gift box with no price tag, which Clem told us last week. It's a legit gift box. Looks like a real gift when it's being delivered, not just, you know, a brown box from UPS or whatever.
Tiffany level gift box. That's what I swear to God, off record, I said that. I go, this is a Tiffany. And my mom said, this is a really nice gift box.
Reached #1 in the App Store on Christmas Day in 2025. So you know this is the #1 product on the market right now. Named #1 by Wirecutter as well. You can save on the gifts that moms love by visiting auraframes.com. For a limited time, listeners can get $25 off their best-selling carver mat frame with the code MOMSBASEMENT. You don't need the apostrophe in the S, just all caps. Mom's Basement. That's auraframes.com, AURA frames.com. promo code Mom's Basement. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. That goes a long way if you're buying one of these. Terms and conditions apply. But again, you can't go wrong with AURAFRAMES. They're the best in the biz.
Nope. And you can just keep adding pictures to it. So you preload it so mom gets all the pictures, and then say pictures from Mother's Day. You then upload those after you're done, and kids' birthdays. A little tip for especially the parents out there like myself. I don't know if Bob, you've ever seen these, but like they have photo streams on the iPhone. So basically, so Apple, we have one for when Sienna was born, and then that becomes the Sienna photo stream. Then AJ gets one. And it updates live. So if I put a bunch of stuff in there, the stream then has it and everyone can view it. That is access to the stream, including obviously my mom. You can add the photo stream to the AuraFrame. So you're not just having to keep, as long as you update the stream, it goes on the frame. You're not having to keep adding new stuff. It'll automatically do it for her and everybody is happy. And Bob Fox is on my mom's AuraFrame, by the way, because there was there was an old picture that he looked just like AJ when he was 3 years old and he was wearing a Batman shirt. And my mom one day goes, "Who is that boy?" And I go, "Oh, that's Robbie." So oddly enough,
I do look like AJ in that picture. It's crazy.
Trippy too, because you had blonde hair as a kid, which a lot of people do. My brother used to have blonde hair when he was a young kid as well. So just one of those funny things. Oh man.
All right, shout out AuraFrame. Now let's get into Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 7. We were going to have Sam Goldfinger join. We talked about that last week. He's still in a bit of the fallout from spring break, so we're going to try to get him on next week. This was a hell of an episode, Clem. This was an intense one. The entire episode felt like the weight of that final scene or two, it felt like it kept along that tone the entire time in a really good way. It opens also with a shot of the New York City skyline, which looks great. And you see the new Avengers Tower. There was like a little spire behind the Avengers Tower. Some people were saying that could be the Fantastic Four's ship. I'm not sure if it was, but I don't really remember the look of that spire behind the tower before. So maybe it was. If it was, is Fisk not concerned? What was that spaceship that landed right by Grand Central?
What is that spaceship? Is it a vigilante spaceship?
And it opens with It Ain't Easy by David Bowie. Awesome needle drop. It Ain't Easy could have been in Guardians. It's such a great throwback song. Loved that.
Yeah, that was great. I was trying to do some research on the Avenger Tower at the Spire, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to need Jose to explain this because those are the things I get into, the Easter eggs and the little hints or whatever. But very cool. And I knew my boy Bob was bumped up when they're throwing Bowie, right off the jump.
Give me a little Bowie. Oh, it was so awesome. And Karen's in jail. Kingpin goes to visit her, and they have their little talk where he fucking winds up choking her through the cell. That was crazy, very scary. And he hits one of his signature. Ha! That laugh that he does, I hate it, Clem. It makes me feel so uncomfortable when it comes out of his voice.
Oh, man, you were lucky then, because I was this close to retweeting someone who posted 2-hour clip on Twitter.
Oh, I saw it.
And I thought that would be great just to, use that as – a reaction gift to something that happens.
Yeah. That is going to be a good reaction gift. You're right. He does it at the window. He does it to Karen. It's becoming one of his signature moves now.
Yeah. How do I say this without sounding wrong? I don't approve of what he did in this episode. I do like that Kingpin is now at the place where he will just choke someone to fuck with them. I do like we have that Kingpin on the chessboard now.
Yeah, wild card Fisk.
Wild card Fisk. Yes, he is the wild. We brought out the wild card. Just had to kill his wife.
We get Jessica Jones paying Mr. Charles a visit. Luke Cage gets mentioned. I don't think Cage is said, but he's like Luke, and you know immediately who he's talking about there.
What if it's Skywalker?
The governor wants Fisk. I'm picturing Baru. Luke. And so the governor wants Fisk. Fisk is going to try to kill her first. So that also becomes a thread throughout the episode of almost like cat and mouse, who's going to get who first. And Jessica Jones tells Matt on the rooftop all of this info. Cherry joins him for this. And he tells Matt, listen, this is where Karen is. Don't get killed. The city needs you. I love that line. That was very comic booky. But a good, they set the stage for the episode right away with the Mr. Charles stuff, the Cherry stuff, going to get Karen in prison.
Mr. Charles, it's spiraling a little bit.
It is spiraling for the Charles heads.
I want it to be known. I like my Charles in control, or even if he's not, he's doing stuff like breaking his phone and putting it in the bourbon. Like he at least is doing like power moves. I understand this is Charles at a different point. I want the old Charles back at some point, Marvel. That's what I'm asking. Yeah. I'm asking politely. I hope it doesn't have to come to more than that. Him and Jessica, though, were going back and forth, and it was a little bit of a, it was a tit for tat. I kind of appreciate. He was able to hold his own. She definitely made some good points or threats, whatever you want to call them.
Yep.
And that scene when they meet outside on the rooftop with Cherry, that felt like a comic book like scene. But then it was so cool to see it with like the real world and the actual like New York City around them. I dug it. It was a very good interpretation into real life.
New freestyle from Clem coming soon. I miss the old Charles.
I miss the old Charles. Break your phone in half and put it in the bourbon Charles.
Yeah. Matt offers Bullseye his one good deed. Agent Nadeem from the original Netflix series gets mentioned. And then speaking of the original Netflix series, Brett Mahoney shows up in the very next scene to get Karen out. He lets Karen talk to Daredevil. They need to fight it in court where there will be cameras. I also like that where last season was a lot of court stuff that built up to Daredevil stuff. This season is a lot of Daredevil stuff that is eventually just building up to court stuff. It's a cool inverse of last season. And Matt decides like, I'm going to show up.
Bob, what is it? It's like poetry. It rhymes.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Matt throwing on, trading out the superhero suit for the court suit. That's, a little MJ throwing on the 2-3 there. Always appreciate seeing Matt in court. Guy just wears it. He wears it on the face too. He owns the moment, our boy Matty. He really does.
He puts those red glasses back on. He's cooking.
Yeah, he's cooking.
Kingpin talks with the scummy district attorney Hochberg. Heather walks in. The way this was shot was weird. They almost never cut to Heather and D'Onofrio in the same, like, I almost thought, did they film this like separately? Were they ever in the same room for this? Yeah. And I was a little confused when he slides the ring across to her and she's a klepto. He's like kind of telling her like, I caught you. Did we ever see a scene of him getting that back? I remember her stealing stuff, but I was like, oh, when did he even get that ring back?
Wait, was it a ring or an earring?
Or was it an earring? It was like the red thing. Yeah.
Her earring. I don't know. Yeah.
That scene, maybe I was just watching it late. I was a little thrown off by that. Then we go right to Daniel screaming at BB saying they need a safe house. And he's like, I got a buddy who's, I'm going to text whatever. He's actually texted Buck, which immediately you get the vibes of like, are we whacking BB in this episode? Or are we hitting her with like I don't want to go to Sopranos every time, but you think Sopranos with this for sure. How do you not?
You said, I'm happy you said it, not me. I don't want to go down another. I am going to go down another one of those Sopranos rabbit holes.
He's straight up his dad in this episode. Some of the facial reactions, some of the, like the way he's yelling at BB and you should be afraid because I am, like, he was fucking tremendous in this episode. And for good reason. I mean, spoilers, you're not going to see much more of him.
I wish we got him to eat some gabagool like right out of the package, and just
and then having a panic attack, or just a little like Uncle Ben's rice just in the background or something, like where he has the same little Tony Israel. I don't think they would do that on Disney Plus though. I don't know. They do some crazy shit in this episode.
It would be odd too that he's like kind of like interested in BB too with the whole thing. So that would true. I will say Tony would probably not approve. We'll just leave it at that based on what we learned in that episode.
Karen walks into the trial. Really cool editing back and forth of the opening statements between Kirsten and Hochberg. Again, I just like the courtroom drama stuff, and I feel like they nail it a lot in this show. Very dramatic, almost hilariously dramatic Matt Murdock entrance. And they're like, and my other, my partner's here. And they're like, what partner? And then the doors open and everyone goes, oh my God. The whispers right away.
They put
the AVTF on trial then too. And you get Matt going back and forth with them. That was sick.
Yeah. And I think Fisk is at home. And I don't know if you could even hear it, but the closed captions did a great job. It's like, that's Matt Murdock, the one who saved it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think that I don't know if you're supposed to know that they're saying that. They got to turn it louder because I was able to read it, but I was trying to like squint my ears, if that makes sense, and try to hear it. But I love the line from the defense attorney when she goes, you know, there is a jury, and it's all the cameras. I'm like, oh, the jury of public perception. Also, I have to make this note. Rhonda Perlman, who's the character from The Wire, she's one of the judges.
Yeah.
She looks enough like two other characters. I think she kind of looks like the governor, and I think someone else. They have to change. They have to do a better job of distinguishing everybody for old people like me. That's like, I'm not sure if that's her or not. I don't think it's Perlman, but it might be. So, and again, I'm calling her by a character she hasn't played in like 15
20 years.
But this is because I'm old. I need help. I can only imagine people older than me or people that don't know her. I think there could be a lot of confusion there.
Think about how Matt Murdock feels. He can't see either of them.
Maybe we are all becoming Matt Murdock in this show. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's like a 4D experience. They're casting people that look so alike that you're getting the Matt Murdock point of view.
You guys just don't get it. When the Battle of Winterfell happens, they can't see either. So they were just showing you what the characters are going through. You fucking jerks. You jerks. I can't believe people tried to gaslight me into liking the final season of Game of Thrones as we were ripping it at our podcast. I'll never get over that. I'll never get over that, Bob.
So here we get a lot intertwined editing wise. So I'm gonna talk about a lot here, and then we could break it all down. The governor realizes this is the opportunity to suspend Fisk. She's like, well, he's, you know, entrapped in all of this. Let's strike while the iron's hot. At the same time, we see an assassination attempt is happening on her that Bullseye comes in and saves her from, which is like that's his one good deed. I love that as he's walking away from the house. They do very subtle blue lighting across. It just says cool lighting, not the full like dark blue. At the same time, Daniel tells BB, oh yeah, I buried a body, blah, blah, blah. She realizes what the fuck is happening right now, and he lets her go. At the same time, cars roll up on Matt Murdock as he's leaving the trial, and they friggin' have stormtrooper aim, the amount they're shooting. And I know they hit like somebody, but they fire 10,000 shots and they land maybe 2. Matt throwing his cane through the window at one of them, fucking sick. And then Daniel goes into Buck, and he's like, she ain't coming. I think she had a birthday party. And it's a little defiance the way he's even saying it to Buck. Buck starts beating the fuck out of him. And then eventually he just fucking shoots him. He's on the floor. He shoots him. The craziest part of all of this, he didn't originally die. Like when they shot it, Buck didn't shoot him. Apparently they CGI'd his arm to like go forward and fire the shot because they were like, that would be a better ending than the ending they had planned for Daniel, apparently. I thought it was fucking heavy to see Daniel get shot. Not quite as heavy as Vic and the Penguin, the comparison that we kind of had throughout the season. That was a little tougher, especially the wallet, taking the money out of the wallet afterwards and whatnot. But this was still tough. Like, I really loved watching Michael Gandolfini in this show, and it's a shame that we're not going to get much more of him. And he has a little redemption letting BB go, but it's not like he has the redemption of, like, playing a factor and being a domino and taking Fisk down, at least not yet. Maybe from the grave he'll have a little shot. I don't know.
You know what the original scene was, right?
What was that?
It's like, you know, Gandolfini's on the ground, and you're like, is he going to survive? And then it just cuts to black. All the music stops.
I had a feeling.
I told you I was going down my soprano. That's exactly.
Don't Stop Believing's plan. Yeah.
To be fair to me, I wrote that note before I had found out that they originally had a different ending for Daniel. But when they took the gun and they shot him, I go, they just did that on a Disney Plus show. What the fuck was that?
I know.
And I appreciated it. This is a character we liked. We said we didn't want to see die. We thought also they could do the death really well. And I think his entire arc was very good. He says to Buck, you're going to be in my position at one point, you know? And, you know, Buck is going to be there at some point because that's how those, you know, number 2s in the criminal organization always end up. But I thought that was a really cool scene. Like you said, a lot of shit. I was trying to think of the word for this episode, crescendo. I feel like we're just louder and louder, and then boom, we hit our popping point with the gun. And even when he leaves, Buck, you could see is kind of like torn, conflicted. I don't really know. I don't know if something else.
He likes Daniel. I think he actually did like Daniel.
Yeah, me too. So I hate to say that we called it, but RIP our dog Daniel. You know, Mr.
That hot dog scene. You know, they bonded over the dogs.
I mean, at this point, he's Daniel Gandolfini. Like, he might as well. They just shouldn't just
Yeah.
put his name, or Daniel Soprano. You could just put, like,
I
I don't even
know.
know if they said his last name. Couldn't care less. He was Gandolfini's son the whole time. But I'm happy for my boy. He crushed it, and going to be interesting to see where the fallout goes from here.
Now we need a scene with like Buck and BB, like the scene in Endgame where they're like, "Your dad loved cheeseburgers," where Buck's like, "Your boyfriend loved hot dogs." And we also get the crescendo of like Heather Glenn going and talking to Karen, and she fucking hits her with like the "don't pity me," and you could tell she's fucking snapping and going full Muse for sure. And it ends with like Matt going to church saying a prayer, and Jessica Jones walks in. So she's gonna help Matt out in this finale. Who knows what goes down in the finale? But powder keg, we got powder kegs.
I was gonna say,
not blown yet.
The kegs have been filled with powder. There is officially powder in the kegs.
They've been pre-powdered.
I'd say one of the kegs separately, because the thing about powder kegs is when one goes off, they all go off. Daniel's keg was separate. It was separate, but I thought it would be part of the initial powder keg. It's not, but still a blow up. God, it's kind of like, oh shit. You know what? When the explosion happened, you could then see the other kegs that are filled with powder.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a powder keg here for the finale. So our girl Karen, she don't give a fuck.
She's got balls.
Oh, your boyfriend, your ex, his insecurities.
Yeah, don't mention Frank Castle around her either. Like, don't bring up Frank. Don't try to intimidate her. It's not going to work. To make a little Dark Knight reference, as we do every week, the powder kegs are like with Rachel and Harvey, and Daniel was the guy who got the phone sewn into his stomach.
Yes, perfect.
Related but different.
Yeah, I mean, we have now stepped up the Dark Knight references to be very good metaphors for what we just watched. Good work, A plus work, Bob. You know what I was going to say? My Dark Knight reference was when the governor was like in her office making we got to get rid of Fisk, and I was like, I thought she was going to drink some whiskey and she was just going to start smoking. However, when they had the view from up top, I go, I bet you that's Bullseye's point of view. He's looking at her right now. And when he showed up, I was like, I spoiled it for myself because I sniffed you out. And that guy Bullseye, he just is killing for the love of the game at this point. God bless him. He doesn't care, checks and balances. He doesn't know what side he's playing, and I love it. And I love a little bit of an agent of chaos. You know what that's from.
That's him. Yeah. All right, let's talk about The Boys, season 5, episode 5. We're now more than halfway through the final season of The Boys. Still no Gen V characters. We're still waiting on them. We've gotten like mention of them, but we've got 3 episodes left, Clem, and they were on a mission to kill Homelander, so we're going to have them pop up at some point. But I did really like this episode. Is it crazy for me to say this might have been my favorite of the season so far? And like, as I'm thinking about it, I think that might be crazy to say because I'm like, so much more happened in some of the earlier ones. But specifically the editing style of this. I love things that like take the same event and go to different people and different personality, almost like I think it's called like the Rosh Hashaman, type of looking at things where you look at everything from different point of view. I just loved when it would cut to like Firecracker, then it would cut to the fucking dog, and then it would cut to Sage, and then it would cut to Noir. I loved getting everyone's stories. It kept me really, really hooked.
I think this is the best episode of the season.
Okay.
I would have to, this is just a gut thing. It could be the best of a few seasons. I don't even I think because I'm
glad we're aligned on that. I was like, am I crazy thinking this?
So, and then because I feel like season 4, I feel like we were kind of burnt out at the end of last season, right? They were like, all right. So I feel like this might have been the best one for a while. And the most messed up thing of all, Bob, I watched this last night with my wife in at the end of the night after we put everyone to bed, and I slept through about 80% of it. I was up and down, nodding in and out, and I kind of spoiled the ending for myself, which kind of sucks. I'm like, why the fuck is Seth Rogen on screen and getting blown up?
Yeah.
However, when I went back and watched it this morning, I was like, whoa, that was really, because I remember we saw like the first 2 people, you're like, oh, we're jumping from person to person. Mm-hmm. I love that stuff. It's a little Tarantino, a little, trick, change things up. And it kind of makes me wish like we had, The Boys has that in them. I wish we had gotten tricks like that along the way even more. Maybe we had some earlier. It doesn't have to be the same kind of thing, but man, I love when shows do that. That is I'm gonna kind of
It
miss
felt
this
more
show
like
if
Early
he keeps
Boys.
doing
It
this.
really did to me. Like it felt like season 1, season 2 vibes around it. Even like the fear that everyone had of like, Noir going off to his friggin' Bee Gees play, and just the constant paranoia of, is someone following me? The deep is following him. The paranoia over the entire episode was really well handled. And it opens with a funny Sam Elliott commercial and then like the brainstorming meeting again. Soldier Boy, he has some lines that make me laugh so much when he's like, seeing some growth myself. He just looks down and looks back up, so proud of himself. Like that was really funny. The Homelander Bible looked, as soon as they take it out, I go, the Homelander Bible, of course it is. And then we're the Cheesecake Factory line. I loved that too. And she's like, we're the Cheesecake Factory. Very funny.
Let me say this. If you're gonna parody the real world and make me live in the world that I'm looking to escape by watching your show, make the parody so good, spot on, and kind of scary that it makes it worth it, right? I think like a lot of people with SNL, a lot of people don't like their political stuff because it doesn't feel like they are going crazy enough. Now, granted, you could say the real world has hit a point of craziness that has then superseded comedy, right? But the Democratic Church of America, just the name itself, A+ work. The Homelander Bible, A+ work. The American Testament, where it's the third testament, old new American. I'm like, fuck that. That's just A+ writing right there. I loved it. And I mean, later on we hit it too, but the wafers, the communion wafers tasted
vanilla
like
wafers
and putting
so
Nilla.
funny.
I'm telling you, if America had its way, there might be a church already that uses Nilla wafers just to get people in the door, right?
I used to love Nilla wafers so much. They were one of my favorite cookies as a kid. Did you see the new ones? They got the blue ones for Mando and Grogu.
I did.
Oh, so good.
So I thought it was very well done. Very well done.
Then we get the firecracker part, which at first, when it says firecracker on the screen, I'm thinking, oh, is this a firecracker episode? And I think I would have been okay with that because her part of it was very interesting as well.
I thought it was a flashback at first too, right?
I did too. Totally. Yeah. When she goes and she's got like a Yankee hat on and she's meeting with the Reverend at the diner. He mentions praying mantis, which comes back around a few times in the episode. They talk about praying mantis. She has sex with Soldier Boy again. He says some gross shit, real gross shit. He's meat flaps and stuff like that. I don't even like saying it myself. He calls Joseph a cuck, which was funny when he's like, who am I, Joseph? The biggest cuck of all time.
Meat wallet, I believe, was the term.
Oh, even worse. Even worse, Clem. Even worse. And then Father confronts her over the Bible delays because he's like, I called the fucking publishing company. They said it would be fine. Why did you say it would be delayed? She has to then cover the praying mantis stuff and the church stuff on her show, Truth Bomb. And amazing acting, maybe the best acting I've ever seen from Firecracker, is when she has to call the man who raised her, she says, a groomer, and imply that he's a pedo. And she's like got that tear streaming down her face where she's just breaking live on TV. I thought that was really good. And I also laughed. I've got a little bit of the boys in my algorithm, like the boys Twitter, and people have posted she's like a hippie. Like the real actress is like a hippie that's always going out into the forest and like could not be more polar opposite of her character, which I found hysterical.
Yeah, she's one of the actors on here that's really snuck up on me because your character is just soulless when it comes down to it, right? And this is when she is just on E on her soul, because even when she mentions the fish fry, which she had such a great memory of, and then she flips it and is like, this is for the worst people of the worst and the pedophile stuff. Man,
I was saying out loud, I was going, no.
And again, the actor who plays Homelander, A+. The actor who plays Soldier Boy, A+. And then even like certain characters in this show have been so good, and she's definitely one of them. So incredible job by Firecracker. And she's someone who like, she's just so rotten. I'm like, get off my screen. But I'm like, you're also so good at what you do. I need you on the screen.
And this episode gives you a little bit of like, maybe she's not as rotten as we think. I mean, she is, but it gives you just the other side of it, like a little bit of humanity injected into her character. Just a little bit.
Are you saying you can sense that there's good in her still?
I can sense that there's good in her still. There was. Then we get the Black Noir part. I laughed so hard at the Bee Gees play as they're like doing the breakup of the Bee Gees on stage and Barry Gibb, and they're talking about, no, Barry Gibb stands for whatever, the Bee Gees stands for Barry Gibb. And Adam Bork, the director, who we're very familiar with, is the director behind this. They talk about the Deep being an asshole. Noir talks about him in front of Oh Father. The Deep follows him. The funniest line of the episode for me is Adam Bork sitting on the toilet and he just goes, "Fucking Tony Gilroy."
Great line.
That was so good. So good out of nowhere. And then the eel attack comes up through the fucking toilet. And I do like that. It feels like final season, like we're taking out these characters, like the people that you're like, oh shit, they're back. It's like, well, it's time to end their story here. And I laughed a lot at him going closer. His final words just being, "My asshole hurts so fucking much." It was good. And then the Deep obviously blackmails Noir over all that.
Yeah, it was that was one of those gross out moments, but it's like, all right, you paid it off. It's ridiculous, it's stupid, but I can live with that one. It's
at least they didn't show us the asshole, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You know what? Not showing the asshole showed sign of growth from the boys, and I do appreciate it.
Like the eel POV. I wouldn't put that past him with Gen V with the ball sack POV.
Yeah. Oh God.
Then we get oddly Terror the dog. He was the next one we went to, which I never saw coming in a million years, with insane Homelander dreams where Homelander's on all fours being like, "Why don't you fuck me?" I was like, what the fuck are we watching? Then you remember he's got the Homelander toy or whatever. It was funny. It also gave me a true nightmare. Last night, I fell asleep and I had a dream that my dog got into chocolate, Faith.
Oh.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then I remembered, oh, there was a dog getting into chocolate scene on The Boys last night. That's exactly why it gave me that nightmare. They have that conversation with Mother's Milk where he's like, listen, I'm sleeping like a fucking baby because I've accepted death. Like, I'm going to die. It is what it is. I'm not fighting it anymore. Then Huey and Butcher get into another fight. Feels almost like a broken record with them, but you have to have multiple fights with them because this is a very serious issue. It's like not going to be solved like that. But he brings up Becca. When Terror gets into the chocolate and then pukes it up, I feel like Butcher has a little bit of a change of heart when he saw everyone band together and make sure this dog's okay with the hydrogen peroxide and everything. And he says Annie and Kimiko can basically be exceptions. Butcher gives the okay.
The most messed up part of that scene. Did you know the shirt? Did you notice the shirt Huey was wearing?
No, I noticed Mother's Milk had another cool shirt on. I forget what it was, but it's like a cool music shirt. What was Huey wearing?
It said Rich Girl, Hall & Oates.
Oh, no.
The ones that got away.
That is the one that got away
I was
for you.
born, and they somehow got away. Yeah, the chocolate stuff, honestly, out of all the messed up stuff the Boys has given us all the years, seeing a dog eat chocolate was horrifying. I've never had a dog in my entire life. I didn't even know dogs were allergic to chocolate until later in my life, say my 20s or whatever. Yeah. I was like, Frenchie, get that fucking cake out of that garbage right now, because I don't know if we're going down this road and I'm not ready. My first thought was, I wasn't thinking because I don't know if a dog, God forbid, does that. Because, dude, when I'm at a house and there's like candy and kids or cake and kids, chocolate cake and kids, and a dog, I am like fucking a Roomba. I'm just looking for any speck of it to make sure that dog, whatever dog I'm with, is not going to eat it by mistake. I was freaking the fuck out, and I thought what we were going to get was, I know hydrogen peroxide is a thing. I thought we were going to have to use V1 on Terror to keep him alive. That's what I thought. That's the road I thought we were going.
Crazy. He becomes crypto, like a fucked up crypto. That would be really funny, actually.
It would have been. I want to know if that was ever in the writer's room, because I don't know how dogs and V1 would mix, animals in general. But I was kind of excited because Terror would be kind of an awesome. If you're gonna have that, anything live forever, I love Terror. The Homelander doll stuff was a little weird, and they're talking about glazed dog cum. I'm like, I don't need this.
I know.
Because again, I had to rewatch in the morning. I slept through that part initially.
You got it twice, yeah.
Yes, I would have been very confused though if I had been awake for the part where if I had woken up and it's a Terror, and then we were going down his storyline, because that was but again, that was stuff that I liked about the Boys. It was kind of, it was
weird,
loop. It gave you a curveball, and that's one of my favorite things about Invincible. I feel like they do that a lot. So,
thank God they didn't kill Terror. Thank God. I would have rather seen Adam's chewed up asshole than
Yes.
Terror dying because of
That
chocolate.
I would have signed for that. That would have been my trade. I'll have to watch an asshole in order to see Terror alive.
Then we go to Sage, and she's talking to Soldier Boy and makes it pretty clear that she's over Homelander, and makes the same thing clear with Ashley and the other side of her head, the other face on the other side of her head. They wind up bonding over drinks, but it's, I feel like, clear from just the Sage part in this episode that she will be one of the dominoes that brings Homelander down in the end.
I mean, it was just a matter of when are we going to get Sage on our side. It felt like
Yeah.
you're not going to get
Too smart.
Homelander.
And she's the smartest person on earth. Like, eventually she's going to be on the right side.
She is, I'll use a sports reference here that Bob will definitely not understand. She is, what's his name? I can't even think of his goddamn name. She's Trent Williams. She's big left tackle. If you throw your pass rusher, Trent's just this is in his prime, fully healthy. She makes everything work. She is the source of the power, basically, other than him super powered up. So we need her. And the thing about Sage that I love, and I almost hate when she's against us, everything's always in motion, and it all comes back that she had it spinning the right way. So we need her on our side, and she's one of my favorite characters, oddly enough, even though I hate her.
I thought you were going to bring up pass rusher Trent Ryan. He was a beast.
One-handed interception. You ever see that? Yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh, I've seen it. Then we go back to Homelander and Soldier Boy. Homelander asks Stan about the V1. He says you got to go to LA. Then we get the supernatural reunion that a lot of people were really excited about between Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki, something like that. He plays Mr. Marathon, the speedster that the Seven had before A-Train. And this scene is so good in his house where you get Seth Rogen, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, a.k.a. McLovin. You get Will Forte. You get Kumail Nanjiani. They mentioned Bill Hader's dead. So rest in peace to Bill Hader in the Boys universe. Channing Tatum was turned in. Post Malone mentioned again as a starlighter. He's got the Puff baby oil in a room in his house. God. That was another like
Paul Rudd going asshole, as we learned earlier in the episode.
Paul Rudd, yeah. And I love all that stuff. The little like inclusion of real life names and real life stuff. I thought that was really funny. I even saw, speaking of Invincible Twitter, not to skip ahead in this episode, someone said, who's going to voice Alan the Alien in Invincible Season 5 after what happened to Seth Rogen? And like, people are already meshing the universes, which, funny enough, they're both Seth Rogen shows, executive produced by Seth Rogen at least. And we also meet this guy, Mal Chemical, who, when we're talking about Bomb Site having the V1 and where do we have to go for the V1? Can we call Bomb Site here? He gasses Homelander. Homelander fucking drops to the ground. And then we get this crazy montage of Mr. Marathon and Soldier Boy with the celebs. Every celeb is being fucking blown up. Seth Rogen, rest in peace, cut in half and blown up. Christopher Mintz-Plasse, rest in peace. Will Forte, rest in peace. They call him MacGruber at one point too. They're like, fucking MacGruber. That made me laugh. And then Mr. Miracle's ending is
Daryl from the Office.
Oh yeah, we get Craig Robinson. So good. And then Mr. Marathon has that crazy death scene where even worse than the head stomp from Homelander was the ankle breaks.
I did not like that.
Didn't like that at all. Like the way he stomped on it. Ankle breaks might be worse than head smashes. That was all bad. Yeah.
All bad. I do like Soldier Boy, his craftiness of how he is able to, he's basically exploiting the celebrities to find, because you're facing a super fast hero, souped up hero in terms of speed, and then the baby oil to slick him, and then he breaks the ankles. It's like that's the ingenuity. Yeah, ingenuity of a guy from the 40s or whatever, back before he had all these other different weapons or whatever. It was almost a little bit of This Is the End too, where you have all the celebrities that are acting like a picture they might in real life. They're playing poker. They're kind of just assholes to each other. So and then they all like die. So that was, and I think I've mentioned this.
This is the end. Yeah, half the cast too.
Exactly, and it's like Rogen is like the ringleader of it all, just like, and that's how I saw the two. And one of my favorite things ever, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on the pod before, is my sister, who is terrified of scary movies, went to see that movie. She knew nothing about it and just thought it was a bunch of celebrities hanging out, and then it became an apocalyptic thriller about 20 minutes in. It's one of the favorite things that's ever happened to me. I saw this, and I don't know if you saw that on Twitter as well, but people were upset that Homelander was able to pass out due to the chemical because they basically made him unstoppable. But this is the second time that Homelander has shown weakness. I actually kind of like it because it's showing he needs that V1 to basically make him the more he knows what it's like to be a human or to be mortal, the more he's going to want to be a god.
100% with you. Like we're on the journey to him becoming invincible and him becoming immortal. He's not there yet, so you can't show him there yet. Like I'm 100% with you there.
Yes.
Also, I can buy that this malchemical guy has the one thing that like makes him very, there's two things, but like there's a few things that can barely get him.
Yeah, and you would think if people want to take down Homelander, they want to make sure that guy's around because they know it is one of his flaws or whatever. And him seeing that humanity or that mortality, I should say, that will make him do the thing that would be a little too far for even a soulless person like Homelander to do because he doesn't want to feel that ever again. So I think it's fine the way it is. I just hope some people were upset. My favorite episode of the last at least 2 seasons.
Yeah. And then Soldier Boy tells him he's been fucking firecracker, but out of respect, he's going to stop that. And Homelander confronts her about that. And even more so than that, the Jesus worship stuff. It's not like, hey, you were thinking of another guy in bed. It was like, hey, you were thinking of another guy in prayer. And she begs and pleads. And he basically is like, pack your stuff, get out, you're fired. She begs and pleads and begs and pleads. And then the episode ends with him grabbing her head and slamming it into the wing of that friggin' bald eagle statue, whatever it is. Crazy death scene for her where, she's stiff as a board standing there as the episode ends. Back to back, Daredevil and this that end in like, holy fuck, that was a crazy death.
Some uplifting moments, right?
I know, it's a downer week in the basement. Yeah.
Woo. Now, Bob, I got to ask you now. Who won the week? I think we can still do it with 2 episodes, even though instead of 3. It's not a triple threat match. It's a one-on-one.
I'm going to say the boys won this week because, this wasn't my and Daredevil had a great episode, but it wasn't my favorite episode of the season even, where this was definitely my favorite episode of the boys season. I'm with you. Maybe my favorite if you include last season as well. I just loved the change in narrative and the way they mixed it up, and the celeb cameos were great. I'll give it to the boys for sure this week.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, again, favorite episode in a couple seasons. Daredevil was not that for me. And like, I like the celebrity stuff. I like This Is the End. Yeah. I like the way it is. I like they don't take themselves too seriously. They poke some fun at the ridiculousness. They don't say the Imagine song, but they do say the black squares on Instagram, the blue squares, the white squares. So
there are the colors that we could use.
The bleeding heart liberals on the coastal liberals on the coast. So stuff like that I dug. And then if you take that out, I still think would have had it won just because of all the little tricks they pulled and the different stories they told. So shout out to the boys. I gave them last week too. This could be a three episode winning streak. However, if they beat Daredevil next week, which is the finale, right?
Yeah.
And it's coming off of this episode, that means we either got a banger of a boys episode or a dud of a Daredevil finale, because I think Daredevil has it locked up. They're minus 200 to win the episode next week.
Yeah, I think that's good bookmaking. You set the odds well there. I also wanted to shout out. No, go ahead.
My one question for you: do you feel like they really have to start knocking down some pins or taking pieces off the chessboard because we have 3 episodes left for the boys? I feel like we still have a good amount to wrap up here, and I think they're hour long. Like this was an hour 7. I think we have like a couple hour-ish long ones, but I don't think there's anything crazy long to really wrap it all up.
Yeah, and like I'm picturing the Deep is dead at some point. Homelander has obviously got to be dead at some point. Butcher probably is going to meet his demise. I imagine Butcher, Homelander, maybe the same episode. But there are a lot of loose ends. Gen V people, like they got to show up at some point, right? So, yeah.
Gen V, I don't even know if we're going to get like because they can't make them too important because not enough people watched it. So it's this is very interesting. It's going to be interesting how that all goes.
All right. I do want to shout out before we move forward. On May 4th, I'm not doing a stream this year. Just the way it worked out, I'm not going to be able to do it schedule wise. I will be dropping a great bonus episode with the TOT Star Wars boys. We did like an hour when they came in. We talked Lego Star Wars. We talked Mando and Grogu. We talked animated universe Star Wars, got into it, yelled at each other as always. It's a blast. So look out for that on May 4th. But otherwise, that's all I had for this week, episode 499. Look out for 499.1, 0.2, 0.5, 0.9. We're saving that 500. We are. Don't be confused when you see the episodes pop up in the podcast feed like that.
And we're saving it for one man alone, and not even a man, just a little green guy. It's not even. Listen, I love Mando. It's for the green guy though. We're saving.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. I'll bring the friggin' Nella wafers.